Hey guys, we had a really good question in the equity waterfall modeling masterclass, and I wanted to go over it. And I wanted to make a quick video just addressing this and answering this question. So, the question was around why is the cash on cash return generally the same for the limited partner and the general partner in a real estate deal? And the reason why is simply because of the preferred return. So I want to go over an example of why this actually is in practice and to show you guys why this is from an IRR perspective. So I have a quick example here, just a really miniature waterfall model. And we have our cash flows up here in rows 1 through 5. And so we have our initial equity investment, our cash flow after debt service, and our sale and refinance proceeds. And then we have our total net cash flow over here. And you'll see that down here, if you go down to row 31, we have our total LP cash flow after it runs through the waterfall model, and we have our total GP cash flow as well. And then we have our cash on cash return for both the LP and the GP, net of refinance and sale proceeds, right down here. And what you'll notice is that we have identical numbers down here. And the question really was, why is this the case? If you have a general partner and a limited partner, and the general partner should be getting more of the returns, why isn't that the case for a limited partner, specifically when there's a deal that we have an IRR on at the project level that is actually going to be over this preferred return? So in this example, I've calculated the IRR all the way over here at the end of year 10 once we sell the property, and it's 12.6%. So this is clearly over this preferred return. You're at 12.6%, but you'd still have an identical cash on cash return. So why is that? Well, it's a great question, and it really allows us to dig deep into the fundamentals of a waterfall model. So I'm going to start by saying that all waterfall models are different. However, the waterfall models that I have seen throughout my career, every one has required what is called a return of capital. So if your limited partner, which we have right down here, contributes $95,000, then you're not going to get any sort of disproportionate share of the profits as the general partner until you return that $95,000. So even if you get a straight 8% cash on cash return for that LP, or a 10% cash on cash return, or a 20% cash on cash return in that first year, you're still only going to get 5% of the total cash flow as the general partner. And the reason why is because you haven't returned all of their capital yet. So really what a preferred return is saying is that you need to return the full entire initial equity amount that was invested plus 8% per year compounded over the life of the investment. So with that in mind, we can really get a better idea of why the cash on cash return would be the same. So if we look at year 1, we have a cash flow after debt service of $7,000. Now, our initial equity investment at the project level was $100,000. So 7,000 divided by 100,000 is going to give you a 7% cash on cash return. Now, we're going to split these returns pari passu, meaning that the GP is going to take 5% of the total cash flows because they invested 5%, and the LP is going to take 95% because they invested 95% as well. So that's how we get that same cash on cash return, the 7% and the 7%. And the reason why is because if we go down here to the preferred return calculation, you'll see that we have a beginning balance of $95,000 for this LP. So we have to pay that LP back, that full $95,000. And then we have a preferred interest accrued of $7,600. So on top of that, we distribute $6,650 because we distribute 95% of this $7,000, and our ending balance is $95,950. Now, if we have any sort of ending balance here, we're not going to take a disproportionate share of the profits because we haven't hit that preferred return target yet. And this is actually really clear if you look at the XIRR calculation for each year. So the way that I did this, if you click on cell F6 and you hit F2, you'll see that I'm taking the XIRR of this specific period and I'm just dragging this down all the way to the end of the hold period. And what you'll see is that we have a negative IRR here, 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 all the way up to the sale month. Now, this is actually a really cool way to see if you're in the promote, if you've passed that preferred return hurdle, by seeing if this number is greater than the preferred return. If it is, then you're in that promote. And as the GP, you will get some sort of a disproportionate share of the profits. But if this is less than 8%, then you're just going to split the profits pari passu, or in the proportion that you initially invested. So that's why you're going to get only that 5% in this year one and year two, because negative 93% obviously isn't more than the 8% preferred return. And this happens throughout the entire hold period. So just with cash flow, it's really, really hard to catch up and hit your preferred return, which is why you'll almost always see the LP and the GP cash on cash returns the same, because the GP is not in that promote, meaning they haven't passed that preferred return until some sort of a capital event. So either a sale or a refinance of the property, which is happening in year 10 over here. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video.